Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the real reasons why Russia is not storming the bunkers. And I'm also going to be touching on some Russian players, or actually all Russian and Belarus players being banned from Wimbledon. So before I continue, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel and you want access to exclusive contents like my parody videos, then you can join my Patreon or you can buy me a coffee. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. So Wimbledon has officially confirmed that Russian players and Belarus players are going to be barred from playing Wimbledon. And there is one Russian player in particular. So this means the players like the world number 2 Danil Medvedev and also world number 10 Russian top 10 star Andrei Rublev will be missing out from Wimbledon this year. And as a British, I must say this is absolutely a sick joke or something. This is beyond words. Because when you're growing up in London and UK, you're under the impression you grow up in a free country. They basically don't discriminate you because of your race, your color, whichever country you're from, religion, etc. But here it's clearly a sign these guys are being targeted because they're Russian. They've done no other crime whatsoever. Their only crime is because they're Russian, they're going to be banned from Wimbledon. So basically they're using Russia as politicizing sport, basically. So if you're Russian, you can be a sports star, you can be, a musician, anything to do with Russia, you get cancelled. And this is part of a cancel culture we're living in UK, and it's been like this for a number of years now, but it seems to be getting worse. People are being cancelled for no apparent crime whatsoever except the fact that they are Russian. And this is beyond a joke. Growing up in England, I never thought this country would stoop so low. I am actually beyond words and so embarrassed by the British, by the Wimbledon organisers, and somebody needs to step up and say, look guys, this is wrong, this is illegal, this is wrong, this is unmoral, this is undemocratic. Because growing up in this country, you would think that this is a democratic country and nobody gets victimized because of the race, color, religion. Everyone gets treated equally. But here, it's unbelievable. It's beyond words. I am totally shocked. Totally shocked. There are so many stories to catch up on. And I saw this one as well. UK waives sanctions on key Russian bank. British authorities have allowed payments to a Russian financial institution to safeguard the European Union's gas supply. So you can see here, the United Kingdom has granted a license for continued payments to Russia's Gazprom bank for more than a month, despite sanctions imposed on the firm and dozens of other financial institutions last month. So you can see the UK is sneakily doing what the US is doing. They pile on all of these sanctions, and on the low key they add all of these licenses afterwards without telling anyone, without telling the press. And actually it's like a snake, really. You just can't trust the British. While you can imagine them lobbying very hard along with the Americans to the Europeans, say, yeah, we gotta sanction the Russians, we're gonna do this, you guys need to do the same as well. So all these Europeans are sanctioning Russia, and then you have the Americans backtracking and placing all of these license to the sanctions and backtracking all of their sanctions without telling anyone, and the British is doing the same as well. While the poor Europeans have to suffer with these sanctions, the British and Americans are getting away with it, and they think just by having all of these licenses and not reporting it on the low key, thinks they can get away with it. So you see, it's very much snake-like behavior. So there's another story about Boris when going to India as well. And I'm going to do a separate video on this. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I just found this article hilarious. UK promises not to lecture India. So there's a lot of clips going around on the internet and YouTube and stuff like that when Liz Truss went to India and she tried to lecture them about not buying Russian gas and oil and stuff like that. And there's some pictures of her all over the net, basically trying to lecture India, and the Indians were not very happy. And I think the finance minister, one of the ministers, actually came back and said, you know what, we only buy a fraction of Russian stuff compared to the Europeans. The Europeans buy more in a day than we buy, a fraction of that. And basically that video went viral, and Liz joke was made to look like a fool. And they told the same thing to Boris. I said, Boris, if you're going to come to India, don't bother. If you're going to lecture us, don't bother. We're not interested. We're not going to change our stance regarding Russia. And Boris Johnson was like, oh, don't worry, we're not going to lecture you. But the thing is, Boris Johnson can't wait to get away from London at the moment. There's all of these party gates going on Parliament. He's absolutely getting grilled by Keir Starmer and other opponents as well. And I'm not sure if he's going to last very long. So him running off to India is actually him just running away from his problems. And, basically he rushed off to India. He didn't get anything, by the way. He didn't get any free trade deals. He didn't get any sorts of deals. Only thing he promised Indians is like, we're going to relax some of our arms deals so we can sell you some more weapons. And that's the only thing he kind of got out of that. But these trips to India is too little too late. He should have been going to India, straight after Brexit and working out trade deals there and then. Going there now, what's the point, And I'm sure that he was supposed to go to India and try and persuade India not to buy Russian coal and gas, because Boris Johnson is pretty much doing what America has been telling Boris to do. So they've been telling Boris, go to all of these countries, go to China, lecture them about this, lecture this country about that. That's what Boris has been doing. He's a little errand boy for Biden at the moment. So that's why India said, look, if you're going to come to India and lecture us, we're not interested. So Boris just went there for a holiday, to be honest. He didn't even mention Ukraine to the Indians. And, he didn't go there for any trade deals or anything like that. Nothing like that. It's just basically a small holiday. Probably needed to get away from his problems on taxpayers' money, by the way. He's not paying for it. We're all paying for it. So he's gone there on taxpayers' money. Little holiday. Had a chat with Modi. Nothing really happened. Promised him that we're going to sell him more weapons and stuff, and that's about it. And he came back, and absolute joke of a man. So now we come to the main part of the video, and you can see I just don't understand why the West is giving these Azov guys so much publicity and video time. Don't they know these guys are Nazis? Before Russia went into Ukraine, there was documentaries and news articles about these Nazis operating in Ukraine and how Ukraine has got a Nazi problem. And now these Western videos and Western press is just showing so much of these guys, so much time and effort, giving them faces on the front line. I mean, look at this. Look here. From the controversial Azov regiment. So they don't even mention that he's a Nazi. They don't even say he's a neo-Nazi. They just say controversial Azov regiment, as if hiding the truth from the public. And absolutely sickening. And not one point they say he's a neo-Nazi or he's a Nazi. They just say, he's a controversial Azov militant. And I just don't understand why they're giving these guys so much time and space. And you got this guy as well. Look at this Azov militant. He looks like he's on LSD or something. Look at how big his eyes are. And this guy's basically saying that he wants him and his mates wants to go to a third country, and basically, he doesn't say which third country, but he tagged America's Biden, he tagged Boris Johnson as well in his Facebook post. So it's basically, these guys are using Facebook to spread their Nazism and spread these messages around. I don't understand why these guys are allowed to show their faces and be broadcasted all over the world. And so another thing is, like, he said that there's women and children underneath the Azov militant bases. So that's another problem, because if there are, then, and if Russia actually storms it, then that's a problem really, because I'm pretty sure that if Russia do storm it, these guys probably would kill all these women and children and blame it on the Russians. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. There is a video as well going around today of basically young kids, and I want to kind of show you this as well, and I'll give you my thoughts on what I think this is all about and why I think it's absolutely fake. So let's play this for a second.
Дітки, підходьте, до вас трошки щось вкусного привезли. Проходьте.
So basically they're showing this video about these women and children in underground bunkers in the Azov steelworks, and I just want to show you that this is probably all fake and stuff. I'll explain why. So you can see a lot of these kids seem to be in good spirits, and they seem to be very happy. Correct me if I'm wrong. These the steelworks have been shelled for like months now, and if I was a kid, or if I had my kid there, they would be scared, absolutely scared, shit-less, and these kids would be very, very frightened. They wouldn't be smiling. They'd be crying. There'll be a lot of kids crying, saying, "I want to go home," but these kids are smiling, which tells me that this video was probably not made right now. This video was probably made a month ago, probably in a different location. And this is why I don't believe this video was taken in the Azov steelworks. And let me continue and I'll show you why.
Тебе не кажется, что этот дядечка военный похож на крестного? Чуть-чуть. Мы бы так бы играли в телефон, но хочется домой, хочется солнце увидеть.
So look at what this girl is saying. We've been playing on the phone, but we want to go home. We want to see the sun. So look how big of a smile she has, and she's been playing on her phone. If there was months of shelling by the Russian military, and they have been shelling the steelworks for months now. And over the past few weeks, it's been pretty severe. Almost every day they've been shelling the steelworks. And this kid is, really happy. She's playing on her phone despite all of these shelling going on above her. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Any normal kid would have been, crying, saying, "I want to go home. I'm really scared." I don't believe. And she's smiling here. She's in good spirits, and she says, she just wants to go home. She wants to see the sun. And the fact that she says she wants to see the sun means that these kids have been locked up in here by the Azov militants in the dark, and they're not being let out. So, which means they are basically being held hostages. And I can't believe how stupid these Western journalists are. These kids and these women are basically held hostage because, because they know, the Azov militants know, if they keep these kids and women inside, that means the Russians are not going to throw these bunker busting bombs, and they're not going to even storm these bunkers, because if they try to storm them, I'm sure the Azov militants will try and kill these kids and blame me on the Russians, saying, look at the atrocities the Russians have done. And they've done it many, many times, and and I'm pretty sure this is the reasons why. I mean, this video, I don't even think there are kids in the Azov steelworks, and if there are, they're probably dead by now. This video was probably taken a month ago, or maybe weeks ago, before there was any shelling going on, because these kids are well in good spirits. They're too much in good spirits, and you can see this is a fresh video. These kids looks like they're full, they're showered. You can tell, when a kid has not had a shower for weeks, or not ate for weeks, for example, they would have looked very, very depressed. They would have looked very, very weak. The color of the skin would have been bad. The hair would have been bad. They would not be smiling. So these kids looks like they've been brought into these underground bunkers and kept there for like a day, and they were filmed, and they're keeping that film for propaganda purposes, and they're releasing this film now. If they went and filmed these kids now, I'm sure a lot of kids there would have been crying. Some of them probably would be dead because of the lack of food or lack of water. These kids look like they're freshly put into these underground bunkers, and this is what the Azov militants have been doing. And there's videos all around how Azovs are using kids and women as shields, human shields. They're using them just for the Azov's own benefits. And these are evil people. They are really, really evil people. If they had any sense of heart, and if there was any women or kids in there, they would have released them. The rest of Mariupol is safe by the Russians. The Russians have taken over the rest of Mariupol. They could easily release them and say, you know what, you guys go, be safe. The only reason, if there are any kids there, they're keeping them there because of, they know that if they have no kids in there, no women in there, the Russians are just going to start bombing those underground facilities with bunker buster bombs, and there's no way out for them. They'll all be dead. So they are keeping these kids, all women, hostage because of that reason. And the fact is, they're showing this propaganda video, and this propaganda video is not taken, now. It's probably taken months ago, and they're trying to show that these kids are in good health, good spirit. I don't think so. I think most of them are probably dead because of the lack of food or lack of water. I think they're in really, really poor spirits, or maybe they're all probably dead already. And if Russia storms these places or bombs these places, Russia knows they're going to be blamed for it. The whole world will say, oh my God, look at what Russia's doing, and they'll use that as more propaganda. So this is the reason why Russia is not storming it, because they know that all of this propaganda is going to be used against them. And I just think this video, again, is fake. It's not taken real time. I think this is taken months ago, or probably even a different location. It doesn't say which location it is. It doesn't say what time this was taken. And these kids look like they're freshly pulled out the streets from their home, put into this underground bunker, probably kept them there for a day or two, interviewed them with this video. For this particular purpose, they know it's going to be their last stand, and they have now released the video. And I think it's really sick how they're using these kids as human shields, as propaganda. If there are kids in there who are alive, they need to let them go and surrender. That's the only way. And the fact is, they are just being selfish. Because they don't want to surrender. They rather get these kids killed, rather get everyone else killed, and it's absolutely sick. And plus the fact that they are getting so much propaganda and so much exposure to the Western world, just for people to feel sorry for them. It's not working. I mean, yeah, most of the West is probably feeling sorry for them, but it's not working for the rest of us who are intelligent, who can see right through it. And if this was in Iraq, if this was in Afghanistan, and the Al-Qaeda was keeping children in underground, shelters and stuff, the Americans would have still bombed it. The Americans would have said, oh, they're using kids as human shield. They would have still bombed the place to smithereens. They wouldn't even care if there's kids in there or not. As long as they kill an Al-Qaeda terrorist, or as long as they get their objectives done, they wouldn't even care if there was any kids in there. The fact that Russia is not storming it because they know there are civilians in there being held as human shields, it just shows how Russia is taking this war. They're trying to avoid as many civilian deaths as possible. And again, all of these newspaper articles showing Azov militants and giving them exposure, saying, oh, we need to go to a third country. Which third country? Britain? America? There is no way I'm allowing Azov militants to be roaming around in Britain. Actually, there probably are, you know, disguised as Ukrainian refugees. They probably are roaming around. You just don't know. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.